Oh, good.
Yes, computer site. We just want to lessons.
This is going to help us.
Oh, well.
This is going to help.
These lessons are out there. I'm excited.
Oh, I need to.
Just put it.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ted Sheftic, Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher. Taught many girls on the LPGA with some wins out there. Dinah Shore, one of my girls won the Dinah Shore. And had one lady won the Jow in New York, and I had one amateur that was runner-up in the U.S. Open in 1998. And she lost to Sari Pak in the playoff. But it was pretty exciting when you had 3 TV stations at your house watching me watch her playing in the playoff. It was exciting times. I believe that whether you teach a female or a male, okay, there's a difference in strength. There's also a difference in power. But I think that every female can learn to hit the ball and use the same principles that we teach males. So when we're looking at the golf swing, we're looking at 4 critical things, okay? And the most important thing, if you turn to your notebook on the very first page, you'll see that I've got 4 swing principles. And these are things that I have looked at for 45 years of teaching. And all great players, whether it's a female or a male, have those 4 criteria. And the most important thing that I look at when I watch you all hit balls today is going to be, what are we doing at impact? You know, are we flipping? Are we handle dragging? Are we getting that club back into a nice impact position where the left wrist is flat and the club face is square through the ball? And that's what it's all about. It's all about, for all of us, to get back into an impact position where this is square. So my whole goal when I teach is to get people into an impact position, because the club face control comes from the back of the left hand. 80% of where your ball travels, whether you're outside in, inside out, or a perfect plane, 80% of the ball is going to start where the club face is aimed. So if I bring my club face down from the inside and the club face is slightly open, the ball is going to start to the right. If I come from the inside and the club face is closed, the ball is going to... So sometimes you'll think, gee, I'm over the top, but I'm really not. I've got a flip, or I'm holding onto my left hand to the ball. So it's so important for you to understand. When you leave here today, we want to make sure that you understand that you have to have an impact position, and there are drills that we use to perform that. The second thing, which I think is important, is a power move. You think about it. If I take the club back and I release early, and I come down here, what do I have to hit the ball with? Nothing. But if I could take my wrist cock here, which is 58 degrees in the right hand, and hold it down into here this way, look what I've got. Man, I've got all this lag here. The club head's there. It's no longer down here. It's here. And then from here, you have to square the hand out. So to produce lag is not an easy thing. Now, probably some of you here have lag. Some of you probably don't have lag. So we're going to see, are we throwing the club away? Are we holding it onto it correctly? And that's the second thing I look at. And the third thing I'm going to look at is number 3 on there, is the path, the club path. Now, imagine coming into the golf ball this way, you know? Coming into the golf ball this way. You know, how am I going to hit the ball straight? Even if my left wrist is flat, the ball is going to start to the left. Either slice or pull. And if I come in this way, then that's not correct. So what we're looking for is the club going on the right path back, coming down on the right path to the ball, and exiting on the right path coming through. I look at it like driving down a highway. You drive off the highway, you're going to have an accident. So you got to keep that club coming down the right path and learn to square the face up at the right time at impact. And of course, the motor of the golf swing is the lower body. That's where your power comes from. It comes from loading into your back leg, if you're right hand in the backswing, and then transferring the weight correctly onto your downswing, getting your lower body working, the sequencing correctly to produce the lag and to produce impact. Okay, so if I'm taking the club back and I do this, okay, how am I going to have any power? what about if I do this? So why not just make a center turn, pull the hip back, get your shoulder over your right knee, and then from here, I'm into my right side. I'm pretty well loaded here. There's no swaying, there's no reverse weight shift. And then from that point on, all I have to do when I get into my right side is just allow my chest to stay down on the ball and get my lower body, my left foot, my left knee, my left hip moving to the left. So the weight moves back on my left side, produces my lag, which then produces my impact shot. So what we're going to do is hope that we can get that lower body working correctly to produce the lag, to produce the plane, and also to get impact. It's pretty simple, isn't it? You got
No, it isn't.
To sink all of it? No.
Sounds like a plan.
So, but you can see if when you're practicing, you look at those four things. Do I have impact or don't I? And we're going to show you up there what to look for. So my job today is to try to get those swing principles somehow into your golf swing, and I'm sure all of you are going to have some of those pretty good. But we're also going to have a weakness somewhere where we have to improve. And then we'll go to station 2. We're going to do a chip shot. We're going to show you how to hit a bump and run, and try to get you better so you can get the ball up and down around the greens. See, 1 putt versus 2 putt or 3 putt. And we're also going to do some putting today. Show you some real nice workstations. The importance of learning how to get your speed correct, and then also how to get your line correct, your aim and your line, which is so important. We'll talk about that on the putting green. You got a notebook there. You all have a pen. Please make notes. Please make notes when we find something important for you. You notice I didn't talk about grip, did I? Okay, so I'm going to talk about posture. So I don't like to change a grip. If the grips are okay, I let it go. If it's really a bad grip and I'm seeing it's a cause of a problem, I might change a grip. But I do want your posture to feel like you're always on the balls of your feet. See, so if you stood straight up and just push your butt out just about an inch, and just, if I held the golf club and bend from the hips till I get the club on the ground, my knees are flexed enough. What I don't want to see is a lot of this or a lot of that. So just a slight knee flex. I want your left elbow pointing to the left pocket, right elbow pointing to the right pocket, so your arms are relatively straight. And I want your head behind the ball. I want to see your head in front of the ball, but then you can't load it into your front side. So we'll do your posture up there, but basically I want a good athletic posture. Weight on the ball is your feet, knees slightly flexed, bend from the hips to get to the ball, chin away from your chest. Don't do this. And then the backswing, allow your head to turn to the right. We're going to try to make a nice turn in the backswing. And one other thing, ball position. And when I take people on a golf course, what I see is poor ball position. So if I have a sand wedge to a 7-iron, okay, I would walk into the ball, set my club face behind the ball with my grip. I'll move my left ankle 2 inches past the ball, about a club head length right there. And with a sand wedge, my right foot will be just a touch to the right. So, and with my hips left, my head's still behind the ball right here. And with a pitching wedge, my right foot moves more to the right. And with a 9-iron, more right. 8-iron, 7-iron. So the widest stance I have will be a 7-iron, 2 inches past the ball with a 7-iron, right foot to the right, head behind the ball, hands slightly forward. There's my ball position. And then with a 5-iron to a hybrid, move the ball 1 inch past the ball with your left foot, about an inch past the ball with your right foot. Again, the furthest back would be a 3-wood, head behind the ball, hands slightly forward, and then I'm behind the ball now. I'm not where I see everybody is over here. You know, you can't get behind the ball goes right, hit it fat, hit it thin. And then with a driver, this is really critical, ladies, because what happens with a driver, we use this club 13, 14 times around. So it becomes the most valuable club in our bag, the driver. Okay. The next most valuable club is your putter, followed by the wedges. Hogan said, driver's number one most important club, 2 is the putter, 3 is the wedges, and I'm not going to argue with Ben Hogan. Okay. So with a driver, you walk into the ball, set your club face behind the ball, and move the left heel right on the ball. All you got to do is allow your club to drop down, right foot slightly outside the shoulder, and place your head between your fly and your right knee, and put a little bit more weight back on your right side. 55-45, right there it is. And I'm behind the ball. Now when I turn, I'm really behind the ball without swaying.
You
Now
always keep your left foot out?
My right foot,
I mean,
my left foot will be 20 degrees open at all times. My right foot will be perpendicular to the ball. Okay, foot's open. But why is this important? Because the left shoulder has to be on the ball. If you draw a vertical line on the ball, that's where my shoulder is. If I move my left shoulder in front of the ball, like most amateurs do, and they got their hands like this at address, and when I get back to impact, where's that ball going?
To the right.
Okay. If I get it too far in front, and I chase after it, where's that ball going? So we want the left shoulder to form a straight line with the shaft at impact. So you want your shoulder to be really on the ball right there. So when I get back to impact into here, there's my straight line right here. It matches up perfectly through the ball. Now I got a good chance to hit the ball pretty straight. So we'll also pay attention to that on the range. So ball position is critical, especially with the driver. And then the other thing that's important, of course, is the criteria, the 4 swing principles. And Brian here, come on up here, Brian. Brian's been a student of mine since 1998. Great player, good teacher, and this is one of my 3rd or 4th or 5th year coming up here with you down in the Wilkes-Barre area, right? Mm-hmm. And he's invited me up here today, and I've taught some really good players up here. He's come down to Hanover to see me. So it's nice to see the names up here on the board. He won some tournaments here. But Brian's a good teacher, and I really appreciate him inviting me up here, especially when he said we had 7 great ladies to work with today. That's going to be a lot of fun. I was looking forward to this. Anything you want to say?
No, I'm glad you came up, and I always look forward to it. And I learn so much when Ted comes up, and you could see why. And I've been with Ted for 15 years, and I've picked up so much.
And I told Brian last night, I said, my son Mark's the head instructor at Marion, okay? Good, great player, played the last couple of PGAs, really good player. And Mark teaches the same thing. And I told Brian last night, don't look for things. I said, this worked for me. 40 years of teaching, 4 things: impact, lag, path, and pivot. That's it. Build your whole teaching foundation around that, because that's the name of the game. And if we can do that, and he does that now, he's really into what I teach, then and that's why you're having success with so many junior players, because he's doing what I try to do. And Mark does the same thing. So we're all trying to do the same thing, make it very simple. We don't want any complications up there. I don't want a lot of thought to the swing. So let's get to work. Let's have some fun today and hit some pretty good shots. I'm going to stop over here. I'm going to walk right down the line and work with all of you, okay? Very good.